Welcome, Right Writers. How's everybody doing today? Let's see. I want to make sure that everything is going correctly. Looks like everything is set up. Let's see. Got a couple people in the house. Before I get started, give me a thumbs up. I see people in the house. Let me know that you can hear me, that you can see me. How's everything going? There he is. Yeah. Oh, glad you like my shirt. All right. Glad to see everybody. Everything's clear. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, once again, welcome, Right Riders. Thank you so much for joining me on today's live stream on this beautiful, a good Wednesday. It's kind of cloudy again here in the Midwest. But if you're catching us on the replay, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can feel free to throw them in the comments. Also, if you're catching this on the replay, there will be timestamps so you can see when the content's actually going to start, because I am going to chat a little bit with the people that are here live. Now, have you been thinking about creating an email? And are you wondering if you even need an email list? Whether you're creating your first email list or you have an extensive list and are just wondering how to use it, today we're going to talk about your email list for authors. But first, again, I do want to check in with the chat. I saw Kevin's in the house. Abby is here. Self-Publishing with Walter Wyburn is here. Jules is in the house. Andy W. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Let's see. I'll scroll up to the top. And I always like to see who the very first person to comment was. And today it was Self-Publishing with Walter Wyburn. So how's everybody doing on this Wednesday day, morning, afternoon, depending on where you're at? And let me know in the chat where you're watching from. You know, whether it's the state, the country, whatever, because I know we've got people from all over the world. Stacy's in the house. And also, let me know, do you have an email list? And be honest, if you do have one, are you using it? Because what I'm going to cover today is actually going to cover whether you haven't even started a list, all the way up to those people that are using their list regularly. I've got some questions for you and some comments and advice for those people, regardless of where you are in your email list journey. So again, let me know that. Okay, so we got Oregon in the house, or Oregon, depending on how you would say it. Kevin, it's almost night there. Yes, you are from the Ukraine. That's awesome. Andy, cough is still killing you, but hopefully you'll survive. Yeah, we had the bronchitis actually go through the house. Luckily, knock on wood, didn't hit me, but yeah, there's quite a few people in the house that have had it. They're passing around. Walter, yes, I do remember you're in Pensacola, Florida. I'm actually from Daytona, which is on the East Coast. But okay, we've got Illinois in the house with Sledge Painter. Stacy says, I have no email list help. I certainly hope that, I think I've got some tips for you. One of the biggest things, and I'll cover this in a second, about starting an email list is just, it's so overwhelming, I found, at least when I first started. All right. So yeah, we've got quite a few people in the house. Glad to have you all here. In the West, it is cold and rainy, Abby. Yes, it is. Like I said, I'm here in Missouri, and it is definitely chilly and rainy. I don't mind the cold. I could do without the rain. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is, if you don't have an email list at all, zero, zilch, nada, haven't even started it, chances are you either just haven't thought of it, or what, like I said, has happened to me is where I just get so overwhelmed. It sounds like a very daunting thing to approach. especially when you've got so much other things when it comes to being an author. You're worrying about your books and getting sales, and is my cover all right? Is my description okay? And then just to add on top of that an email list. Do I even need an email list? The first answer to that question is you absolutely need an email list. I heard that probably a million times before it actually sank in, and even then it was more of a somebody kind of dared me to start a list, and so I'm always love a challenge, and I'm a very competitive person by nature, and so once you dare me to do something, chances are I'm going to do it, no matter how stupid it may be, and so within reason, and so that's really the reason why I started mine. It was daunting, and I didn't really believe that you do need one, but I'm telling you from experience, you do. And real briefly, the reason why, and chances are you've already heard this, is because when someone buys your book on Amazon, or they even look at it on Amazon, they are not your customer. Even if they bought your book, they're still Amazon's customer. You have no clue who they are. You have no way of retargeting them. You have no way of communicating with them any way, shape, or form, unless they follow you and that kind of stuff. But as far as on the Amazon platform, buying your book, they're Amazon's customer, not yours. And until you get an email list, that's the way it's going to stay, regardless of where they get it. So yes, you absolutely need an email list. I know it's daunting, but I'm going to give you 3 really quick tips on how to get started with it. And the first one is get a free software. I use MailChimp. There are plenty of software that are probably more robust than MailChimp that may cost you, anywhere from like $8 to more than that a month. When you first start out, just do with MailChimp. Do something that's free, whether it's MailChimp or another free platform. MailChimp, last I checked, allows you to have up to 2,000 subscribers before you have to go to their monthly plan. And by the time you get to that point where you have that many subscribers on your email list, then you can look at other options or look at the how much MailChimp charges for the monthly. But the free has worked fine for me. I'm getting close to 2,000 now, so I'm probably going to have to start looking elsewhere, or at least do some comparisons. But again, to start, just get yourself a free account with MailChimp, or again, another free email site. Number 2, just begin with a sign-up sheet. Now, most places like MailChimp will actually have, once you start an audience, they will actually have where you can go through and you can create a landing page or a sign-up form, something along those lines. It's fairly intuitive. I could do a tutorial on that later on if somebody's interested in that. I can do a video on that. But there's plenty of those on YouTube that I didn't think there was actually a need. But if you need me to, or you just want me to, you let me know and I will do it. But again, just just set up the page, and the page doesn't have to be super complex. Basically, all you're doing is you're giving them a place where they can put in their information so they can be added to your list. You want it to look decent, you maybe do some branding, and if you are giving something away, make sure you put that there so they know. As far as the information that I collect, depending on my list, then I may collect something as simple as just the email address, and I'll usually have a spot for the name, but I don't make the name mandatory. The only thing that's mandatory, obviously, for an email list would be the email. But, and this is a little bit more complex, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but for other lists, I may add more elements to my sign-up form. But basically, for all intents and purposes, especially if you're just starting out, name and email address is really all you need to collect. And lastly, for those people who don't have a list at all, you're going to take the link that is created from that sign-up form or landing page, whatever you create, and you're going to put that in the back and in the front. I usually do it on the copyright page of all of your books for that particular niche. And if you have no content books, maybe that's all you're doing, you still want a list. You still want, eventually, for these people to to buy your books from you and not from Amazon for multiple reasons. One, again, you can get more information from them because they're your customers at that point. And let's be honest, if they're buying it directly from you, then you get higher royalties because you get 100% of the profits instead of having to only get 60% depending on what site, whether it's Amazon or somewhere else. So those are the 3 tips if you don't have a list at all. But what if you have a list but you don't use it? That's a lot of people that I know, and that was me for a while. Like, I started a list, and I got a couple people trickle in, maybe 1 or 2 people, and what I found was I didn't really do anything with that list because it was only 2 people. But you need to treat those 2 people like they're your only customers, because at this point they really are your only customers. Think about if you worked in a restaurant. If you worked in a restaurant or owned a restaurant and you had a couple come in to eat, are you just going to let them sit at the table and not wait on them because, it's only 2 people and the place isn't full? Of course not. You're going to go and you're going to treat them like they're your only customers because at that moment they are. So regardless of whether you have 1 person or 1 million on your email list, you're going to treat them all the same. So if you do have a list, regardless of the size, but you haven't really done anything with it yet, here are some tips that I have for you. Because one of the biggest arguments I hear is, I got a list, but I don't know what to say. Okay, well, the first thing you want to do is you want to make them aware, usually right after they sign up. You want to let them know how frequently they can expect to hear from you. Whether you plan on sending an email a week, an email a month, an email a day, which I think is way too much, but regardless, maybe an email a quarter. That would depend on your niche. Obviously, if most of the time nonfiction authors are going to be more communicative with their email list than someone who only writes novels and they only launch novels maybe once or twice a year, then in that case, they may not hear from you as much. But let them know right off the bat what to expect. And even better, if you know what day of the week you're going to send them on, then you can let them know, you'll be getting an email from me every Monday afternoon or 5 o'clock or whatever. I usually don't tell them the time because that's something that I like to adjust when I'm starting a new list, just to see where I get my better response rate. So just to keep that in mind. But again, let them know what to expect right when they start. That way they really can't complain that you're emailing too much. They knew right off the bat what to expect. And the important thing is once you tell them, make sure you stick with it. Obviously you may change, if you tell them Mondays, you may change it. Okay, well, Mondays weren't really working, so you're going to change it to Thursdays. Just let them know, a couple emails in advance that it's going to change, just again, so they know what to expect. All right. Number 2, talk to them about what they care about. For example, in my YouTube emails, if you're a subscriber to the YouTube channel or just a viewer, you can actually sign up for my email list and you'll hear about the things I'm doing off of YouTube. So you'll hear more things about maybe about my family, maybe about some of the books I'm working on, some of the other projects I'm working on. Those are all kinds of information that I don't necessarily post on all my videos, but they are included in my email list. And because of that, and I tell them when you hit the little sign up, it'll say, if you want to see what I'm doing off YouTube, you can sign up to my list. And you can just go to kwheelerbooks.com/email. And by doing that, I know, and I'm setting that expectation of what's going to be in those newsletters. And therefore, by me doing that, they know already what to expect. And more importantly, I know already what I'm going to give them. And so I don't have to come up with these obscure things to talk about. And what am I going to talk about this week? Now, maybe you don't want to share that kind of information. Maybe you want to keep yours more professional. But that's fine. Find out what they're looking for. So if you're in fiction, chances are they want to know a little bit about the characters. They may not want to know so much about the actual writing aspect because they may not be authors. But They may want to know a little bit about the characters, some behind the scenes stuff, where you got ideas, that kind of stuff. And use that to get them enticed, especially if you've got a new book coming out. You can give some little snippets of of maybe an upcoming chapter. You can ask them questions about, maybe ask them about a specific name that you're thinking about doing, and getting them involved. Okay, next. Like I said before, you want to cherish every single member that you have, whether there's one of them or there's a million. They don't know how many emails you're sending out. They don't know how many subscribers you have. You want them to feel like they're your only one, even if they're not. And again, this goes back to pretty much anything when it comes to writing. Gotta be consistent. That was one of the biggest issues I had, was that inconsistency. I may send an email this week and next week, and then I'll, it's the holidays, I'm not going to send them. No, absolutely. Even if it's a holiday, still send them. They can be shorter. And I'll usually tell them, especially during Q4, I'll say, I know everybody's busy around the holidays. This is going to be a really short and sweet and to the point email. And those are the ones that I usually get the most comments back about, because they appreciate my honesty, and they appreciate that it's not a big long dissertation, because to be honest, they're not going to read it anyway. Also, you want to make sure, just like you do with your descriptions on your Amazon page, use HTML. Well, you don't even have to use HTML, because most of them you can just highlight it and just click, make it bold or make it underlined. So anything like that to make it pop, so it's not just a big block of letters, because that'll they'll deuce out. Okay, and next, this is for the people that, all right, Keith, I've got a list. I use my list every week. I'm getting good clicks. I'm getting good views. Like, what else can I do? Like, what else can I do to take it to the next level? Well, I've got two questions for you. Number one, have you polled them? Remember, they're your customers now. Whether they purchased from you or not, they're still your customers. They took the initiative to sign up to your email list. So ask them questions. Send them a poll. You can use something like SurveyMonkey and create a quick, couple question survey. Or if you want to direct them over to your social media, you can do a poll that way. Find out things like what kind of, what other ways how do they read their books? Do they, use paperback? Do they use ebooks? Do they listen to audiobooks? What other genres are they interested in? Because even if you don't plan on going and writing in other genres, by knowing what that crossover is, it could actually help you with coming up with some collaborations with other authors, maybe in a genre that you don't write in. So if you know that you write children's books, and your children's book, the people on your email list, chances are going to be the parents, they may also be interested in, romance. Well, if you know a romance author, then, and they can pull theirs and see maybe some of them have children, you might be able to cross promote each other within each other's newsletters, and you're not even really competition in any way, shape, or form, because you're in two completely different genres. But again, you're learning more about your particular reader. And also you can ask them, certain questions. You don't want to get too detailed, like income or anything like that. But, you can ask them things like gender, or, what are some of the hobbies that they have, because you can actually, especially if you're in fiction, you can incorporate some of those aspects into your books. So you're tailoring it more towards your readers. And then the next thing is, have you done any giveaways or contests? You can do that kind of stuff in your email list. And the great thing is you don't need any kind of fancy software for it. You can just, whether you want to give away 5 free copies of your audiobook. If you're doing it through ACX or you're doing it through Findaway Voices, chances are you already have those promotional codes. So it's not costing you anything. But by getting them engaged, they're offering to do these giveaways. You're getting them more interested, and then the chances are they're going to start reading your emails even more attentively, because they don't know when you're going to do another contest, and they want to win. And again, it doesn't cost you anything, because if you're giving away your audiobook or you're giving away an ebook or anything like that, you already have those free copies. So those are the questions and suggestions that I have, regardless of whether you don't have a list at all. Maybe you're afraid to start one. Maybe you have one but aren't using it, or you're using it and you think you're doing everything perfectly right. Can you step outside the box and do one more thing? One more thing to get them more engaged, one more thing to get them more interested. And again, the more interested they are, then when you are selling in your email list, hey, I've got a new book coming out, it's on pre-order, you might want to check it out. Then they're going to be more likely to actually click on it and check it out. One more thing I wanted to talk about, and this is kind of a heated topic, and once I start talking about it, you can let me know in the comments how you feel about it. And that is a giveaway or not a giveaway when it comes to your sign-up list. And what I mean by that is, I know a lot of people say you absolutely, positively have to give something away to get someone to sign up for your email list. My question to you is, how do you feel about that? Do you have to give away something? Or do you think you can get people to sign up for your email list for nothing? And what are the pros and cons of those? So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. And I do see some questions popping in. I will get to that very shortly. But let me answer that question from my perspective. I have 5 different email lists for different genres that I'm in. And I will tell you that 3 out of the 5, I am giving away something. 2 of them, I don't. One of the ones as I already talked about, is the one for this YouTube channel. I'm not giving anything away. I'm just simply saying, if you want to know what I'm doing off YouTube, then, join my email list and I'll share that information with you on a weekly basis. So by me, again, I'm not giving anything. It's costing me nothing. I'm not even giving away a free pamphlet, no checklist, nothing. Just if you want to see what I'm doing, then sign up for the list. And then I have another one where I'm doing something very similar. The other ones, I'm giving away, it may be a checklist, it may be the first chapter of one of my books, or it may even be just a free ebook. Like I think that's what I do for my children's book series or email list. But here's one thing I found which really surprised me. I get less unsubscribes and I get more clicks and engagement on the ones that I didn't give anything away than on the ones where I gave something away for free. So it's a double-edged sword. So you can, if you're giving something away, chances are you're going to get more people on your email list. People like free. But even though you're getting more people, majority of them aren't going to be clicking on your links because they're those kind of people that they just want free stuff. So if you're selling something, they're not going to be as interested unless it's something that absolutely draws their attention. Whereas conversely, if you have people that are signing up because they're interested in whatever you have to offer, whether, again, like the YouTube channel, they want to know what I'm doing off YouTube, so they sign up. Or if they just want to know the next time you've got a book coming out, you want to know, then sign up for the list. They're just interested. Those people, you're going to get less to sign up, but they're going to be more engaged because they're in it for the right reasons. They're in it because they're truly interested in you. They're truly your fans right at the beginning. And so even though you may have a smaller list, it's a more quality list. And again, it kind of like when we talk about no content, low content books, is it about quantity or quality? So I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, but what I'm telling you is that this is what I found when it comes to whether you're giving something away or you're not, what you can expect. So if you don't have anything to give away, and that's another argument that I've seen people use when it comes to why they haven't started a list. I don't have anything free to give away. I only have 2 books and I don't want to give away any of it because then that reduces the amount that I have to offer and sell. That's fine. If you're putting it in the back of your books or even at the beginning of your books, the link to sign up, they're already in there. They're already looking at your stuff. So they are at least somewhat interested. And so absolutely put it in there. And if you're, like I said, if you don't have anything to give away, then just don't. Just tell them something along the lines of, if you want to know when my next book is coming out, or you want to know how I'm doing on writing the next book, or anything like that, any, the writing journey, then sign up. Anything along those lines, and you can get them in without giving away anything. So again, if you don't have anything to give away, that's not a reason to not start an email list. And when it comes to when should you start one, yesterday. Just go in today, sign up for MailChimp. That's step one. Just sign up for MailChimp. Okay? And if that's all you have time to do today, then that's fine. But at least take that step. And after you've done that, let me know. Let me know in the comments that you've signed up for MailChimp or whatever platform you want to use. And then the next step would be to create that landing page. All right, so those are the suggestions that I have. I could talk about this till the cows come home, but and I'll be honest, I literally just started my email lists. I have 5 of them now. My first one I set up was a little over a year ago. So I mean, I went quite a few years before I actually bit the bullet and did it, and I'm glad I have. It was only up until probably the last 8 or 9 months that I've been really consistent about sending out the emails and doing it on a weekly basis. One of them is monthly, but the rest of them are weekly. And the sales I'm getting, the comments I get back just on emails. And one thing I found out, regardless of whether it's fiction or nonfiction, people really like to hear at least a little bit about you as an author. So, maybe sharing pictures of a vacation you and your family went on, or something along those lines. Just little tidbits like that, something that they can't get from somebody else's email list. All right, so let's go to I'm gonna scroll up onto the chat. I saw something. Let me. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. If you have any questions, and I miss it the first time through, just put it. Forgive me and put it in there again. Vancouver's in the house. Glad to see you here, Sarah. I have a list set up, but not running yet. Just finished reading the Newsletter Ninja. Really good book. Okay, good. Abby, about 6,000 feet above sea level. Very cold in the mountains. I bet it is. All right. I see you guys talking to each other. Glad to see that. I love that camaraderie. I saw that, Kevin. Hold my beer. I saw that and I was like, oh, did somebody get in trouble? Let's see. Yeah, my kids mess with the heat and the air. Okay, I say my kids. It's my youngest. I don't know how much, if I've told you guys the ages of my kids, but my youngest is 15. So, I mean, I don't have any little ones anymore. But the grandbaby's coming, so that'll be fixed. But anyway, yeah, he loves to just adjust the thermostat. Drives me nuts. New Zealand's in the house. Glad to have you here. You're going into spring, heading for summer in December. Oh, nice. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm from Florida. I'm not a big summer fan. I would rather have, to me, between 65, 72, that's perfect weather right there. As long as it's, sunny out, maybe a little bit of clouds. I could do without the snow. I could do without the rain. Let's see. Andy says, I really need my own fans, my own customers. Absolutely. You definitely need your own customers, because unfortunately you never know whether it's Amazon or not. You never know when something's going to happen and they just pull the rug out from under you. Whether it could be something as simple as they change their terms of service and you're doing something that was right before and now it's wrong. Or it could just be something completely innocent. You're doing everything right, and something wrong in their algorithm says that you did it wrong. That's it. They can pull the rug out from under you. And then regardless of whether you're making $100 a month or you're making, 5 figures a month or more, that could all be gone tomorrow. And, not to get, I don't want to get all doom and gloom, but that's a fact. And so because of that, two things you should be doing. One is an email list to make sure that those customers become your customers. And the second thing is going wide, diversifying, not just your books, but trying to step outside the books and maybe do other things that are related to your books. Let's see. I mean, I actually have a buddy of mine who he writes fiction, he writes fantasy, and he's actually making a board game for that niche, and it's actually coming out pretty good. Let's see. I have MailChimp, but I've had a little luck building a list. Stacy says, "Yeah, I'm not going to promise you that it's going to go overnight. It's not. They're going to trickle in, especially if you're not giving anything away. But that's fine. Like I said, the important thing is whether you have one person, if you have at least one person on your email list, you have an email list. Start sending out emails, however frequently you've told them you're going to. And if you haven't told them, then just maybe you have a list and you haven't touched it in months, maybe even years. Then just send them an email. Say, hey, I know it's been a while since I've reached out to you. In case you're, if you don't remember why you signed, how you got a hold of me, you can give them a little hint as to how they signed up for your email list, and just say, things are starting to get more active, and so I want to make sure I keep you in the loop of what's going on, and make sure that you're informed. And so going forward, I'll be sending out an email every 2 weeks, every second Wednesday, however you want to do it. But again, make sure that you communicate with them, even if it's only one person, because again, they don't know it's only one person. Let's see. Kevin says it's still falling to Ukraine. Andy, plenty of snow where you're at. I know I said I don't like the snow. I actually do love the snow. What I don't like is I don't like super cold weather if it's not snowing. If it's cold, I want it to snow. The lady writes, Katrina, sorry I'm late. It's absolutely fine, Katrina. Glad you made it. And I'm pretty sure Katrina, I know you've got an email list. Video link, please. Abby, wait, what link do you need? Oh, okay. For the lady writes. Yes, that was a very good. I don't know if YouTube will let you drop that link in here, but you can just click on the lady writes on her little icon and hit Control and click on it, and that way it'll open it up in another tab. That way you don't leave us. You don't want to leave us. All right. Do you email them with every book you put out? Abby asks. I do. I actually will email them for that niche. I will email them even before I launch it. I'll let them know, just like I say to do with social media. Let them know as I start the book. Then I send them updates and I actually will give them maybe some ideas on some suggestions to choose from. I want them to help me choose the title. I may already have the title in mind. I know what the title is going to be. As long as it's one of those options, the other ones could be ones that there's no way, shape, or form I'm going to change it to that. They don't know that. And so they feel like they're getting involved. And so I'll do that. Then I'll send them an email that I'm doing a cover reveal. Maybe I'll have 3 or 4 covers and I'll have them vote on those. And again, making them feel like they're part of it. Even if I already know what I'm going with. Again, they don't know that I already have made up my mind. So again, a lot of it's just perception. But yes, absolutely. As soon as my book goes on pre-order, if I don't put it on pre-order, which typically I will, and I can do another video on pre-order, but the thing with pre-order is when you first launch your book, Amazon has the new release. They used to call it hot new releases, but now it's just new releases, and it's a new categories for books that have been launched in the last 30 days. But if you put your book on pre-order, you're actually on that list even longer than the 30 days because you're on it the entire time it's on pre-order. And now that Amazon does pre-order up to a year, there's no reason. And I also like pre-order because it kind of lights a fire under me to make sure that I meet my deadlines. Let's see. I'm trying emailing everything I'm doing when I'm talking to my email list. Yeah, absolutely. The lady writes, good point. Andy has a question. Is there a way to offer Amazon coupon codes, discount codes for our books via a website and email list for them to then redeem them on Amazon or ACX? ACX, yes. If you've got the free promo codes, you can just have them sign up on. They don't have to go to ACX. They'll have to go to ACX to redeem them, or actually they have to go to Audible to redeem them, but they don't have to go there to get them. As far as Amazon in particular, what you can do is you can do I don't know if they call them gift codes anymore, but where you can gift a book, and you pay for it, and then you can again pick a winner or however you want to do it, and then you can just gift it to them. Good question. Another person that's amazing, Walter Wyburn, self-publishing Walter Wyburn. He all his sales are done on his email list and his website. I know starting in January because he's jumping onto a new niche, which is awesome. He's starting to publish books on self-publishing, and he's been doing this for, if I remember correctly, over a decade. So he knows what he's talking about. He's going to put on Amazon, but everything else is off Amazon, and so he absolutely is proof that you can do it. And he'll tell you if you check out his videos, he's like, am I filthy rich? No. Does it pay the bills? Absolutely. And that's what majority of us really want, right? We just want to quit our day job and be able to do what we love, as our permanent job. Let's see. I just jumped. I'm thinking of giving away something is the easiest way to get started, or more people, right? Not fans yet. If someone is a fan, then you don't need to give anything away, as they already want to hear from you. Absolutely, Andy. And again, that goes back to the whole quantity versus quality. There's nothing wrong with, when it comes to your email list, there's nothing wrong with focusing on quantity. No content, that's a completely different thing. Absolutely quality 100% of the time. But when it comes to your email list, which is what we're talking about today, you don't need, you can focus on quantity and focus on getting as many people as you can, and then just play the numbers game. If I've got 1,000 people and only 1% clicking on things, that's still 10 people. So there's really, if they're purchasing, then that's great. That's 10 purchases I didn't get before. But so yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And then that those 10 people, now those are what I call your super fans. Those are the ones that they're probably going to click on every link that you give, whether it's for your books or maybe it's an affiliate link or something like that. Self-publishing Walter, you're right on the point about the giveaways. Absolutely. Sarah says she totally agrees. Walter says, yes, that is a fact, and it happened to me. I'm pretty sure Walter's talking about, because I know it's a bit of his story, is he's talking about you could be doing something absolutely right, and they just changed a turn of service, and you miss it. Or especially if you've got a volume of books, maybe you went through and you fixed all of them except for one. That may be all it takes for Amazon to pull the rug out from under you. Or again, it could just be a mistake on their part, but they're not going to tell you that. And if you read their terms of service in detail, you'll see that once your account gets closed, you can't open another one. Like, you can't try it with another email. If you get caught, they'll ban that one too. Let's see. I've had poor experience with MailChimp using a different provider, but I need to get people on my email list. Andy, that's fine. I just use MailChimp again because it's free, and me, I'm regardless of how much money I'm making, if I can do something frugal, I'm going to, because that changes, that just makes more profit for me and my family. But absolutely, I'm not against other platforms. Like I said, I'm probably going to be looking into some other ones coming in the upcoming months, probably after the new year. I've started creating generic covers for KDP and direct them to websites for email gathering. Works like a charm. There you go. That's awesome. Awesome to hear, Abby. I'm dreading talking about the weather. Andy says I'm dreading the minus 40 and minus 50 days. Gets so cold. Yeah. That's the downside to depending on where you're at. Abby says, sweet thanks. Yes, absolutely. Eek. Yeah, that's cold. That's some cold weather. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments about email lists? If you'd like me to do a tutorial on MailChimp, I could. I'll be honest, I don't know inside and out. I know just what I use. But as far as like setting up an email list for the first time, that kind of stuff. The good thing is once you do an email the first time, there's actually an option. You can just replicate it. And then, so the format's all the same, and then you just make tweaks for that particular week. And that's the joys of being live. Anyway, hey, quiet down. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments about email lists? Hank, it's okay, buddy. Come here. Let's see. He sounds a lot tougher than he is, I promise. All right. Let's see. All right. If there are no questions, let me just check one more time. Yeah, exactly. It's an extended doorbell. It's funny because he looks really big and scares. I've had delivery guys like take off. Hank, it's all right, buddy. I've had delivery guys take off. But yes, please, MailChimp tutorial. I can always learn more. All right, Stacy, I'll add that to my list. Yeah, I'll tell. Hank, Andy says woof woof. Any other questions? Let's see. Okay. Now, if you have a book out there and it's just not getting the sales that you're looking for, my question to you is, have you tried using HTML? I did a video where I show you how to make your book description pop, and I'll include a link to that in the show notes. Until then, I'm Keith.